Hello Twin Flames, and here is this week's card reading. And we start with Divine Feminines, and first card is very beautiful. We have the Romance card, and here we see a couple in this idyllic setting having a wonderful time, having a gorgeous date together. And you can feel in this image that their hearts are light, that they're having fun, that they are enjoying their union and just being in the moment, and that they're feeling really good about themselves and each other. And of course, that's what romance is. Romance is about connecting to that feeling of love within yourself, that feeling of self-attraction, and letting that flow through you so that you can attract and experience this romantic love in your union too. So this week, feminines, it's an energy of inviting you into deeper romance within yourself. And one of the best ways I've found to do that is the Twin Flames Universe Romance Attraction e-course, which will guide you through all the steps of how to really deeply fall in love with yourself. And the course is repeatable so that you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's one of the best ways to attract your twin flame to you, is to attract yourself to you, to get to know yourself and go deeper there. So let's build the picture based on the next card that we come to in the reading. And here we have this kind of power woman figure looking very much in control here, with the heels and the crossed legs and the maybe office environment. And of course, the energy here is independent. Now, one of the issues with this energy of independence is that it leaves you feeling very alone and cut off. So although the woman in this image might be seeming to come across as someone who's got it all under control, of course, control isn't being in the flow with the universe. It isn't being in the flow of love. It's cutting yourself off and doing things your own way and trying to make things happen in a particular way that suits you, instead of really relaxing into true femininity, which is being present with that flow of universal love and being moved by it, knowing you're safe and you are loved and supported. So being independent can mean trying to do all that yourself instead of aligning to the divine source. So in your union, we're wanting interdependence, which means being able to stand on your own, and then of course interacting together from that place of being full and complete and whole and loved and filled up with love from within yourself. So that might be, this card might be alluding to an energy this week where you're trying to do it all yourself and be on your own, and you think that's how it's done. And of course, we go back to this image. There's nothing about aloneness going on here. There's nothing about being in control going on here. It's just a gentle flowing movement of togetherness. So we can see the difference. So it's about coming back to love and softening within your heart. So let's look at the last cards for the Divine Feminines this week. And actually two came out, which doesn't always happen, does it? And here we have two cards which actually are really describing an inner state, which can often lead to trying to be independent because we're trying to avoid feeling these feelings. And so the first card that came out was the Heartbreak card. And of course, many of us on the way to meeting our twin flame or calling our twin flame into our life, we have been heartbroken in the past. We have experienced a feeling of thinking that we found love and then love seems to leave. Well, the truth is that love can't ever leave, because you and love are one. You are made from love. You are intimately connected to love always. But of course, when we believe an illusion that tells us that love is in that person and then that person's gone, well, it certainly hurts. And of course, we have to validate that feeling. But once you heal in that space and you recognize that love isn't in a person, love comes from source through others. And so you are never without love, even if a person does happen to go away. And of course, your true twin flame is always with you in your heart. They can't ever be separated. And then with the heartbreak card comes the sorrow card, and it says deep distress caused by loss, disappointment, or another misfortune suffered by the self or others. And of course, really, we're only ever talking about our own feelings. So I'm going to redirect the message there back to a feeling of sadness. I would even call it grief. So when we have suffered a loss or an abandonment, it can feel like a deep grief. And on this journey, you will need to access that grief and feel it and release it. And if you'd like some help to do that, I suggest working with an ascension coach who can help you move through those feelings as they come up. I've also moved through a lot of grief on my journey. It's just a pocket of energy that just sits within the being, within yourself energetically, and it needs to be tapped into and released so that you can feel lighter in that space, so that you don't carry that grief around with you, and even co-create your reality based on an experience of grief and loss and repeat that cycle. So we want to access that so we don't have to ever experience heartbreak and loss and grief again. So twin flame journey is about healing. It is about accessing the places within us that are hurting. So you have to be very courageous. But when you do access these places, you will feel so good when you release that old pattern or all that old energy. I can't recommend it more, but just get yourself some good support to do that. And now let's check out the Divine Masculines this week. And the first card we have is the Regret card. So that might be tying in as well with the heartbreak and the sorrow. And just looking back on old feelings, old patterns, old ways of being, things you may have said or done, masculines, that you are looking back on and thinking, yeah, that wasn't right. I wasn't aligned with my heart when I said that. I wasn't choosing love when I chose that. And of course, that can be many, many, many things. But regret is another feeling that comes up on the journey. And the antidote to that is just a lot of forgiveness and recognizing that if you don't know the way to align and the way to choose love within yourself at every juncture, then you are going to make some wrong turns and are going to lead yourself down a path of not love. And sometimes we don't realize, because we don't really understand the truth, the foundation of life itself. And so, we're here to experience that and then to make new choices. And when we experience what we don't want, we really experience contrast, which means the opposite of that which is wanted. And that's often what leads us back to love again. You don't need to experience contrast to choose love. You can just choose love. So you don't have to have any experience of contrast. It's not necessary. But the masculine is really looking back on his choices and just reviewing them and upheaving and releasing those feelings of not having chosen very well in the past. So let's see what else is happening with the Divine Masculine. And we have the Transparent card, which is really good to see. And I think it pairs very well with the Regret card because it says honest, open, vulnerable, nothing to hide. So it really means that the masculine this week is taking a very good look, completely openly and honestly, at his choices in life, where it's led him, what's happened as a result, and how he feels about that. And of course, there are going to be good choices and not so good choices, but he's really willing to go there. And of course, vulnerability is your strength, because when you can be open and honest with yourself, you can really move forward. It's only when we hide and lie and pretend and avoid that we really get a bit stuck. But being open and honest, it's okay. It's okay to say, oh, I did that, I said that, I chose that, and I wish I hadn't now. Because making a new choice points you in a new direction. It means you create a new reality. And let that be so. Let the past be gone. Ego is interested in the past and the future, but love is only interested in this moment now. So what you choose now Let that be love. And then the last card for the masculines this week is very beautifully the surrender card, and that fits for me. It feels like a really solid healing week with surrender coming up, and it says letting go of negativity, listening to higher wisdom from self, shifting out of ego and into soul self. And of course, the language in this card is really just saying surrendering to source, to the source of all love, to the universe, to God, whatever you call that source. And in the surrender, you are in the flow, just like that romance picture. You are in the moment. You realize that you are not the past. You are not your choices. You are not your mistakes. You are simply this moment now and choosing to be with love. And it's as simple as that. And I think sometimes people think healing is really complicated. It's not. It's very, very simple. It's very, very easy. There will just be a fair bit to do on this journey because we've made a lot of choices of not surrendering, of not being with love. And of course, we need to go to those places and adjust each one of them. But it's easily done with a new choice. So enjoy your surrender, masculines, this week. Now let's take a look at union cards. And the first card we have here is contentment. You can learn to rest in what you already have and already are. Suddenly you remember, I am right here resting in God. And that card really speaks to me and echoes that surrender message of realizing that you have support and love within your heart, and just go there and access it. You are already with love. You already are there in this moment now. That love is in every now moment. That's beautiful. And then the central card for your union energy is, funnily enough, as we've seen quite a lot lately, there's so much mirroring in the cards. We have another romance card. So romance is on the cards, literally, this week. It's doubled up. And so it's really about tapping into that inner space of falling in love with yourself, of realizing that let your heart be light, let your heart choose again, let your heart let go of the heaviness of the past, of the choices of the past, and step into new romance, step into letting yourself tap into that beauty and creativity of the energy of the source itself. You know, source created all the beauty that ever existed and that ever will exist. So tap into that and claim it, and let your heart be light and filled with beautiful romance and attraction for yourself. And in doing so, you will attract your twin flame to you like a little bee to a flower. So yeah, that's a beautiful week, beautiful message. And then the last card for you all is the Surrender Worry card, which I think is really helpful with all these heavy feelings that are coming up. And it says, make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. And I'm just going to add to that yes, you do have the power of choice. You can choose to let go of a worry and realign to love in that moment. And that's all you need to do. Just keep surrendering. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you.